Hi, this is Larissa Hall. I'm going to take you through today an overview of my social media community, Connecticut State of the Art. Um, what I'm going to do first is talk a little bit about the community, talk about my project over the last 2 weeks, some information that I've learned, going forward, analytics, some next steps, and where I see this community moving forward. Thank you. So first, looking at the community, what do I know about it? So it's a community of artists, art venues, art professionals, art educators, art students, and art enthusiasts. And they are looking at all of these things: events, art making, public art programs, job postings and job opportunities, education seminars and programs, sharing their opinions about art and art making, awards and grants, and finally art sales and auctions. What have I learned since I've started working with this community? That really what the community wants is to drive engagement, boost attendance by driving fans and followers online to actually come to the real world exhibitions and events. Promotion is king. Self-promotion by artists, event promotion, and opportunity promotion is really, really important. What have I learned over the past few weeks about the members in my community and what's important to them is that making direct connections with brands and individuals for greater reach is very important. There's not too much of a two-way conversation going on in this community. There's a lot of content being pushed out, a lot of sharing, a lot of retweeting, but not so much of the two-way conversation. And finally, there's an overall need to know what's going on. People want to know what's going on in the local art community so that they can be a part of it. Now, looking at the personas in my community, the first one I want to look at is the creator. The creator is interested in sharing news and information while recounting visiting real-world arts events. So here's some samples of a creator in my community. Talking about actual events that they visited locally and sharing that with their network. The commentator, this is a person, again, sharing events that they've attended, but again, they're still establishing their voice within the local art scene and really have a broad view of what that entails. And finally, the spectator. So the spectator is someone who offers a lot of enthusiasm for the topic of local art, but isn't necessarily creating or actively commenting on the local art scene. It's really just about enthusiasm when they do engage. So I wanted to look at 3 top influencers. The first influencer is the Connecticut Girl About Town. So she is an epic retweeter. Rather than having to go to individual Twitter accounts to find out news of the local art scene, you can basically just go to Connecticut Girl About Town, and she has retweeted everything and anything that you might like to know about what's going on in Connecticut. Secondly, we're looking at the Connecticut Arts List. Connecticut Art List is first and foremost a website of resources for artists and art enthusiasts in Connecticut, and really wants to be that one-stop resource for information for artists. And then lastly, Susan Dunn. So Susan Dunn is actually an arts writer for the Hartford Courant, reporting on film, visual arts, TV, books, and other cultural events in the Hartford area. So she's creating original content and commentary on the arts in Connecticut. So what have I learned anything new? It's really easiest to focus on visual arts in Connecticut as opposed to all of the arts. That's just too broad of a topic. There are few regularly used hashtags for art in Connecticut, but there are hashtags for special events and promotions, and there's generally the hashtags, hashtag Connecticut, hashtag art, but nothing that gets really overused. And utilizing existing networks of artists and art venues by tagging and cross-posting is really helpful in engaging with this community. And finally, exploiting personal networks for this new brand of Connecticut State of the Art has also been very helpful in getting more engagement. So initially when going into this, I wanted to see if I could create Connecticut State of the Art as a place for artists to engage with each other online and foster artists' collaborations. So being a catalyst for driving conversations and supporting conversations is a hard thing to do. And it actually would take a physical presence and much more reach. But again, it's not something that can't be considered for a goal for the future. But looking at the immediate goals, and for this 2-week project that I had, I want to walk you through what my goals were. So based on what I've learned over the past 2 weeks, I relied on connecting with pre-existing networks and working locally so that I could engage both virtually and in the real world. Doing that by utilizing existing networks, having a local focus, attending actual events, tagging appropriate people and venues when I did post or share information about these events, and again, sharing using cross-platform. This was all established based on what I saw as a need to cover and document a wide range of local art events that are receiving little coverage. So this is specifically events and exhibitions featuring art students and emerging artists. I did receive a great response from my blog post on Andre Emilio's MFA show at WestCon, where I received my highest post views at 171 and 124 unique visitors. So I really wanted to play off of that. So my POS strategy has pretty much maintained the same strategy regarding the people in this community, that there's a passion for and interest in creative endeavors and activities, and really we want to become a positive and active model for engaging followers by sharing news, events, and content. Sharing, promoting events and exhibitions to garner excitement and conversations on the arts in Connecticut. And finally, really focusing on the role of artists that is evolving. The days of artists being represented and promoted by a gallery is transitioning into independent artists responsible for promoting and sharing their work and events themselves. My objective was to energize, to really engage with the most enthusiastic community members, the artists and art patrons, wanting to share and promote events, and again, garner interest in artwork and local events. Now, looking at the specific strategy, looking at networking and creating opportunities and spreading information, and doing this by talking, monitoring conversations, and finding deeper connections to members in the community, joining conversations, and broadening my community connections online, embracing, filtering information found online and in person, and helping to spread information and content, and converting, responding creatively and bringing my own unique perspective and humor and voice into the conversation. So the tactics. Really wanted to focus on events and opportunities happening now. Spreading the word for small local venues and artists who aren't in the public eye. Making sure that we're using cross-platform promotion, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. And to do that, wanted to look at some 2 events and 2 opportunities that were big locally for me. That include the outdoor public art in New Haven, the Under 91 project, promoting that on the blog, creating a public art Pinterest board, promotion of the blog and pin board on Facebook and Twitter, and then looking at a local art spotlight, covering an event, creating a pin board of the exhibition work, and promoting on both Facebook and Twitter. So here you can see what I did initially with the Under 91 project. Took some survey information that Under 91 had put together and culled that all together in a blog post to talk about the project itself, which deals with community, public art. And since it's already a big conversation that's going on in New Haven, I kind of wanted to piggyback off of that conversation. And then as part of that, what I developed was a pinboard of existing public art in New Haven. Thought it would be a good resource when looking at it in consideration with the new opportunities that Under 91 was proposing. Secondly, I looked at Albertus Magnus, which has a collaboration with ArtSpace showcasing work from their flat file that was curated by Albertus Magnus students. So wrote a post about that, shared that across multiple networks, including Facebook and Twitter. And also, as part of it, wanted to create a pinboard of the exhibition. I thought it would be a great way to have a virtual gallery. And then additionally, I also shared on my personal networks, just so that I could tag people that I knew were collaborators or artists involved with this project. So the results of that. So this is looking at the broad results of my WordPress posts. The 171 here being in the blue box was the highest views that I had throughout time. And that was because of the Andre Emilio post. Went down over time. That was a lot to compete with. And then it's slowly increasing again as I get more interest, and I'm really focusing on the sharing across multiple platforms. Here you can see Facebook was the top referrer, and most of the people coming to my WordPress blog were in the United States. Here's an overview of my Twitter analytics. 151 tweets throughout the history of this project, and just a breakdown of retweets, hashtags, what have you. Most retweeted, this is actually a different mix of opportunities for artists and upcoming events, and most favorited were tweets that were upcoming event tweets. Here we see clicks in terms of clicks for Ali links, and the most clicks was actually something, if you create intrigue, I found more people are more likely to click on a link on Twitter. So this is an overview of Facebook Insights, and overall it's been positive. There have been numbers increasing regularly. Regarding reach and engagement, my Kaleidoscope Eyes post, the Albertus Magnus curated show, had equal amounts of, or the highest amounts of reach and engagement. And here you can see on Facebook I'm reaching men and women equally, and I am reaching people locally, which is really what I'm trying to do. Pinterest is a little slow. It's a little bit more organic. I've got 1 follower on Pinterest, and I've got 3 organic repins, mostly from people who are putting together boards for themselves of art inspiration. So overall, in the analysis on Twitter, people like to click links that intrigue and entice. Tagging and sharing across platforms works. I'm, again, reaching people locally on Facebook. Tackling reach versus engagement, again, this is a challenge. And it's really a difference between tagging and getting fans, followers involved. Pinterest builds followers and repins very organically, and I think that's something, again, that can be worked with and strategize a little bit more. And really, you reap the effort you put into these platforms. So finally, conclusions and next steps. So in conclusion, the work that I've done over the last few weeks, the testing and the troubleshooting on multiple platforms has paid off. I've learned a lot, and I've found ways to do things a lot easier and a lot better for my followers. I want to focus on underreported events, art students and emerging artists. I've seen that to be a great content area for this blog and social media presence. I want to capitalize on existing networks. That has been helpful so far. And virtual galleries, as I'll explain in my next slide, is something that I've kind of taken out of this, this project, and I think it might be another opportunity. So in conclusion, on the next steps, I'd like to narrow the focus of topics for original content for a more thorough overview of, say, local events and local artists. I want to supplement the narrow original content focus by continuing to share what I find on opportunities for artists and art enthusiasts. I'd like to ask for dedicated time and a budget to attend and document local arts events. I think there's a lot of information to be gained and shared there. I'd like introductions to local emerging artists and our educators to find new and exciting content to share. And finally, I'd like to continue to build virtual galleries in collaboration with local arts venues to highlight and promote their events. Thank you.